makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, by all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
You may ask yourself, out of idle curiosity, or perhaps even peevishly, why Marx? Why so much Marx?
Come on, get him up there.
Fuck over me! Go out! Fucking...
Lift him up. Lift him. All right. I need you to promise to stop wiggling.
Fuck you!
It's gonna make it hurt to walk up the stairs. All right.
Who the fuck are you?
One
Who the
leg
fuck?
up, two
Who the
legs
fuck are
down.
you? The fuck?
Here we go. All right. Get him on the table. Get him on. Just stay still. I can't breathe.
The fuck?
Do it. Come on. Here. Come on, you little bastard! Hey, get your fucking head! God damn it! You fascist piece of shit! You don't deserve your money. You don't deserve a penny of it. You stole from the people. Sell your shares and repent. Sell your shares now, you money-grubbing asshole. You're a criminal.
Do I know you?
Get angry,
Do I fucking know you?
Oh, you know me. You know every one of us.
You fucked up!
I'm the man you robbed.
Fuck.
He's the man you robbed. You robbed us all. You fucked up.
No, you fucked
You
up!
fucked up. You fucked up the biggest.
You fucking little Antifa bitch!
Don't use misogynistic language.
You fucking morons! You don't know what the fuck you're doing. The fuck? They're gonna get you for fucking assault! You stupid fucking Antifa motherfuckers! You...
Jesus Christ.
You gotta close the... Jesus Christ is fucking right. Oh, God. So we got him. We have this guy.
Yeah, we have.
He's like a hedgie. He's a bank guy.
Big time hedgy, big time bank guy.
Like, I know we talked about it, we planned this all out, but this is crazy.
Wait, you can take your mask off. You're not gonna get sick, man.
Oh. Yeah. This is fucked up.
What's happening? He's here, alright? He's here. He's in the bathroom. And
Let's kill him. Let's kill him.
Why? What's the point of killing him right now?
What? Just get rid of him. That's easy. 1, 2, 3.
Why would we kidnap him and kill him right off the bat? We need to, like, get this news out somehow.
No,
Like,
we're going to have him buy all the shorts, and then we are going to figure out what we do next.
we gotta get it out there first, build up the people thinking about it and talking about it.
We have one of the richest son of a bitches in our bathrooms. People will know he's missing by the end of the night.
You know what, buddy?
Maybe we want people to know that he's missing.
But I want blood. Let's kill him.
It's not about one guy buying back his stock. It's not about one guy dying. We want to get everybody knowing about this. This is the spark that leads to revolution. We need to put it on Reddit, on Wall Street Bets, on TikTok. Even though, China's obviously has a lot of issues about how they're actually state-run capitalism now, which is so I don't support a lot of it. But as far as countries that we can work with right now, that's pretty good. Okay?
Or we can just kill him, throw him out in the street, and he'll be on the news by the end of the day.
And then we took him for absolutely no reason. We brought a guy upstairs, we tied him to a toilet, we stabbed him, and then we threw him in the street. For what?
For revolution.
What's the revolution if we're just killing him and throwing him out? We didn't have any purpose for him. No, we want the money. We want to get the money first. We want to distribute it so that everybody gets what they deserve, and then we do whatever it is we do.
In the same way that the first level of communism is socialism, and in the same way that the second level of communism is communism, we have to do this in the right order. First is revolutionizing the proletariat. Don't be fools.
I am head of theory.
I purchased the guns.
I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for you finagling the stock market so it could go down a few points, for you and your friends can do whatever you wanted to do. That's not what I signed up for.
What did you think was gonna happen? You thought we were going to just go out and find a guy in the street? Oh, this is a good guy to kill. We bring him in here and we just cut him up to bitch. What kind of logic is in that?
Not just any guy. We got a very rich guy that can. It's very important that if we kill, something good can happen.
No, we need this guy. We need him to call Magellan Capital and buy back his
I
AMC
used for
stock.
you and your friends to finagle the stock market and make it go up.
Well, that's what we're doing, and then we'll kill him if we have to.
Hey guys, John's here.
Hey, John.
Hey.
What's up, boys?
Not much.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You gonna kill somebody?
Nah, just like.
Right?
John, you ever wish you can kill your boss?
Shut up.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes
yeah, yes,
you
right.
don't
Sometimes,
like your
right?
boss, you just kill him.
I don't know why he's
immediately.
even talking about that.
I mean,
We're actually pretty busy right now.
Yeah.
But I don't even know why he's talking stupid.
Your generation is going to be expected to do a lot.
Feed the hungry, house the homeless, conquer disease, stop illiteracy, stop war and violence, create a situation of world peace and understanding.
what's going on tonight?
No plans.
Yeah, I'm pretty beat too. I just got off of work, and so I was like, let me see what everybody's up to.
Yeah, you didn't even
Right.
let us know that you were coming. You just rang the doorbell.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
chill
a-
like that.
Cool.
So
It's
it's
like
fun surprise.
yeah. Surprise!
Good man.
Me, motherfucker!
We were
Yeah.
not expecting anybody to come. We were privacy.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, that's cool. Well, why don't we let you know?
Okay, yeah. I gotta go pee anyway. So
Hold on. Do you really have to?
yeah, I just came here straight from work, so I was,
Can you hold it until you get home?
I mean, I figure I'll be here for a while, so I'd rather just go now. So,
Yeah, but
Well,
we kind of need
yeah, it's,
Well, we're doing a thing where we're trying to save water, trying to save amount of flushes.
okay. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna pee, so I don't.
no.
I'm
Plus,
not
I went, and I. It's really funny. You ever clog a toilet really bad and you can't unclog it ever?
All right,
I
I get
tried
it. No,
really
I get it.
tried.
I've just clogged some toilets. I get it. It's embarrassing. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, now I understand. I understand what's going on. But I really have to pee, so I just want to pee.
Okay.
I'll pee on top of you. Shit. It's
Okay,
fine.
well,
Don't
no,
tell
okay, let's
nobody
just-
about
but
it.
there's one thing, just
in
like-
the sink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd rather if you pee in the sink. We're
in the back.
This
yeah.
sink, the kitchen sink. You want to
kitchen
pee in the
sink,
kitchen
yeah.
sink?
yes.
Guys,
That'd
look,
be
I'm
hilarious.
just gonna pee in
No,
here.
no. You
Yeah,
don't
but it was
have-
like
let me
it was
pee.
like when we were in college and we went to that party.
It's
and
like fun prank, you know.
Yeah,
in
it's so
college.
funny.
I'm not peeing in the sink anymore.
Pee.
All right, yeah, all right. I'm gonna pee. I'm 36 now. I'm gonna pee in the bathroom.
Okay, listen.
Fuck? What the? Who the fuck are you? What the fuck's the plan here, guys?
Who's this guy standing up? Why is he tied up?
At what point do I get to call my lawyer and send you fucks to jail?
This guy is a lawyer?
Not
Who
a
is
lawyer.
This guy?
I'm a fucking associate at Magellan Capital. Is that what this is?
Let me just tell you that you fucked up with AMC, okay? Because it's going to the fucking moon, okay? And we're all gonna pay for it. We're gonna profit from it, and you're gonna be fucked, all right? But you know what, guys? This is fucked up. You do not kidnap somebody.
It's exactly like you said. He's going to call Magellan Capital, he's going to buy back all of his shorts, and then AMC is going to go to the fucking moon. And we're going to benefit from it. Everybody's going to benefit.
Hey, I did not sign up to that. I signed up to stabbing him to death, which is still the idea that I think is the best option we got.
There is no reason to feel the need to stab anybody to death.
You can have injustice and have peace. Isn't that correct?
You can have peace and be enslaved.
Yes.
So peace isn't the answer.
No.
Liberation is the answer.
Yes, of course.
Okay, then that's what you should talk about, never peace. That's the white man's word, peace.
If you are nonviolent, if you suffer, your opponent will see your suffering and will be moved to change his heart. That's very good. He only made one fallacious assumption. In order for nonviolence to work, your opponent must have a conscience. The United States has none. Has none.
Calm down, man. We're not doing any of that shit. What we're gonna do, we're gonna put him on Reddit. We're gonna let everybody know we kidnapped him.
Yeah, live stream everything. Have him do a struggle session, confess all the sins that he did, and make him give all the money that he made to us.
You need to calm down, okay?
I need to calm down?
Yes, man. And you also need to stop pushing people. You're too aggressive.
I'm too aggressive. You kidnapped somebody.
We're Lenin's vanguard. We're here to make shit happen.
By kidnapping a guy and putting him in the fucking bathroom?
Yes!
Okay, great plan. You guys are geniuses. You're gonna build a beautiful communist utopia. It's gonna be great.
Oh, hey, I'm so glad I caught you. I was just in the neighborhood and I noticed that it's the 5th. I haven't gotten any money from you yet for the rent and this month, and I just was wondering, you know, you can...
because my data is totally used up already. It's already gone.
Okay,
So yeah.
Okay, well, I take check or cash, you
I
know.
I only pay with Venmo now.
And do any of your roommates have any data that, you know, maybe you guys could pay that way through their phone?
No, we're on a shared family plan. We believe in sharing things.
That's interesting.
Do you not? This is what it means to live in a community, to share.
Okay,
I get you don't understand that. You know what I mean?
I'm not judging you at all. I think that's great that you have a family plan. Is there any way that you could get it extended a little bit, or I mean, honestly, attach it to Wi-Fi?
Would you like some of my blood? Would you like a vial of my blood for you to for your feet off of?
I don't get the connection with that.
This behavior is why Mao killed all the landlords. So just think about that.
Okay, I didn't know that, and
I didn't think you did.
Speak Bitterness meetings were held in which the landlords and others linked to the defeated nationalists were confronted and denounced by the peasants.
At the public meeting, they would explain how they couldn't afford to pay back the rent every year, or how they had to take out high-interest loans to pay it off. People around the stage sympathized with the poor peasant stories, and they'd weep.
政府接受了群众的要求，判决罪犯李志仁的死刑。
We are the landlords. That means we're the lords of the land, okay? We want to treat ourselves like that.
They didn't pay their rent, they gotta go.
You ain't renting my unit. Some discrimination is good. We want to discriminate. Family members evicting each other, parents evicting children, children evicting parents. Did you know in the state of California that you can discriminate on the basis of color? The color is green for economic reasons.
We're here to see the apartment. It's just been rented.
Hey, fool! You can't keep people out because of their race, creed, color, sex, age, or handicap. And that's the law. And the T-Force will enforce that law in court. If discrimination is keeping you out, you call the New York City Fair Housing Task Force.
The T-Force can open doors for you.
This is Philadelphia.
There are about 40,000 abandoned houses here. At the same time, 20,000 poor people need housing.
I don't know any reason why a person ought to have a right to own a property in a neighborhood, don't pay the taxes. That property clearly constitutes a public nuisance, and then we say we won't let a family live in that property and abate that nuisance because somebody may be offended somewhere along the line. I am offended by a person who owns a property in North Philadelphia, won't pay the taxes, won't keep it up, and tells me that I can't do anything about it.
The police at our door. They're saying, get out, you have to evacuate. We're going to have a police action here on your block. Just take a change of clothes. We're going to protect your belongings. You'll be back in 24 hours. If you don't leave, you're going to be arrested.
I could actually see my house being blown up.
Everybody was just, it was like a torture to watching our life just burn down to the ground. I mean, baby pictures, family members' pictures, everything destroyed. Mementos of our youth destroyed. Everything was gone. I mean, even though they told us they didn't protect anything, they burned everything to the ground.
Gary Berman is CEO of Tricon Residential, a Toronto-based company that has quietly become one of the largest owners of single-family homes in the United States. You are a multi-billion-dollar company. You're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange.
Correct.
And the
Toronto Stock Exchange.
Toronto Stock Exchange. I even read in one of your own documents that your revenue went up last year by 67%. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're expanding. I mean, when you think about it, we have an incredible amount of demand for what we do.
Mao, meow, 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 meow. Yeah, that's what it's like for the rest of us normal people. We're not all in the landlord class.
Okay, I don't know if I'm in a different class or anything.
You're a landlord.
Well, but
You're the owner.
okay, yes, I am. But you know, I mean, this is kind of like my job. You have, you know, I'm sure you have something that you do. Or I was just trying to give a reminder. I do really need that rent. I'm trying to like make the place better. I can't do that without the rent.
And
you
vampires
know?
need their blood. I get it. Let me just say this.
Okay, sure.
Fuck you, and fuck your apartment.
Okay.
Maoist revolution in America.
Oh, I understand that. But if we want to start the revolution, we got to do it the right way. And it's going to have to require some patience. Okay? We're going to need this guy.
All right, John can go now.
Thank God. Okay, excuse me.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah,
See you later.
Yeah, good to see you
Check it
guys.
out.
All right, yeah, see you. Okay, good fucking luck.
There are very few poor countries in this world. Most countries are rich. The Philippines are rich. Brazil is rich. Mexico is rich. Chile is rich. Only the people are poor. But there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. There's been billions for 400 years. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the flax, the hemp, the cocoa, the rum, the tin, the copper, the iron, the rubber, the bauxite, the slaves, and the cheap labor they have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped, they're overexploited.
So when I talk about imperialism, I want to put it, like in terms that I hope can be understood. I'm simply talking about capitalism leaving the borders of the United States, number one, through the mechanism of financial penetration and the acquisition of markets in those other countries, and the use of the fist, the gun, and the club, and the force of the armed military apparatus of the state to smash liberation struggles wherever they might occur in the world, because those liberation struggles are headed fundamentally in the direction of socialism, and therefore are unalterably opposed to the continued existence of the capitalist rule and domain over the entire world.
In the 1950s, the Guatemalans dared to challenge an American business that controlled much of its economy. The United Fruit Company of Boston owned 500,000 acres of land, the railroad, the port, and telecommunications.
What we wanted to do was have a terror campaign to terrify Arbenz particularly, terrify his troops, much as the German Stuka bombers terrified the population of Holland, Belgium, and Poland at the onset of World War II.
Anyone who questioned the rights of the Criollo as the natural rulers of the country, or the rights of the company to the nation's land, would quickly find themselves in a shallow grave. He was everything the CIA wanted and more. It's just that he wouldn't stop calling himself Hitler.
This is the first time in the history of the world that the communist government has been overthrown by the people.
The American nation cannot, must not, and will not permit the establishment of another communist government in the Western Hemisphere.
What right have you, when I mean you, the CIA, the United States government, or any foreign power, what right do you have to do what you do in other countries?
National security interests.
But that's a divine right, isn't it? Because the people that you do it to have no say in this.
Well, that's just tough.
Que los Estados Unidos tienen que respetar el derecho de los pueblos a desarrollar su economía en la forma que necesita o desea.
Allende's first big step, supported by all Chilean political parties, was the nationalization of copper, Chile's biggest industry, still under effective U.S. control.
President Richard Nixon told the CIA to, quote, make the economy scream. The agency also worked with 3 Chilean groups which planned a coup against Allende. The U.S. constantly worked to undermine the Chilean economy, until General Augusto Pinochet replaced Allende in a military coup in 1973.
Just after midday on Tuesday the 11th of September, under orders from General Pinochet, British-made Hunter jets swooped over the Moneda presidential palace, starting fires which were to burn for weeks.
My wife and our children were at the house, and they had a marvelous view of these planes winging over and then dipping down and sending their bombs into the Moneda.
That morning from the Moneda, Allende had broadcast to the nation.
Trabajadores de mi patria, tengo fe en Chile su destino. Sigan ustedes sabiendo que mucho más temprano que tarde, de nuevo, abrirán las grandes alamedas por donde pase el hombre libre para construir una sociedad mejor. ¡Viva Chile! ¡Viva el pueblo! ¡Vivan los trabajadores!
Hours later, Allende was dead.
In a surprise Christmas bombing of Hanoi, President Nixon today delivered more tonnage than was used at Dresden in World War II. It is without doubt the most brutal bombing in American history.
Every 10 years, this country has to have a war.
What brings employment?
So many people have to die, and it's a dirty shame.
It's your politicians, too, that have to take a good portion of this blame. Because I think there's a lot of them that get a certain percentage of these defense contracts and things that go out, And I think there are a lot of politicians that are involved in this, and they get their cut, and this is what's just prolonging everything.
Okay, America, ship up or shape out. General Goldie here.
They give all kinds of reasons and excuses, some of them credible, some utter rubbish. There's an interesting one that we saw very recently in a secret report of the State Department. I want to tell you about that one, so you can reflect on that one. That secret report made this point, that Grenada is different to Cuba and Nicaragua, and the Grenada Revolution is in one sense even worse, I'm using their language, than the Cuban and Nicaraguan revolutions, because the people of Grenada and the leadership of Grenada speaks English and therefore can communicate directly to the people of the United States.
In 1979, trouble came to Grenada. Maurice Bishop, a protege of Fidel Castro, staged a military coup and overthrew the government which had been elected under the Constitution left to the people by the British. He sought the help of Cuba in building an airport, which he claimed was for tourist trade, but which looked suspiciously suitable for military aircraft, including Soviet-built long-range bombers.
I leave you with a word. I'm glad Reagan dead.
It's the same fight against fascism in South Africa, where the blood of hundreds of innocents was shed.
Would you want a Gaddafi or an Arafat or a Castro to be a future president of South Africa?
One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies.
What do you have to say about dictators of countries like Indonesia, who we sell weapons to, yet they are slaughtering people in East Timor? What do you have to say about Israel, who is slaughtering Palestinians, who impose martial law? What do you have to say about that? Those are our allies. Why do we sell weapons to these countries? Why do we support them? Why do we bomb Iraq when it commits similar problems?
There are various examples of things that are not right in this world, and the United States is trying. I really am surprised that people feel that it is necessary to defend the rights of Saddam Hussein, when what we ought to be thinking about is how to make sure that he does not use weapons of mass destruction.
I'd like to...
shouting, just a moment.
I'm not defending them in the least. What I am saying is that there needs to be consistent application of U.S. foreign policy. We cannot support people who are committing the same violations because they are political allies. That is not acceptable. We cannot violate UN resolutions when it is convenient to us.
So it's been an explosion of democracies. We have played a role in that. We think we've played an important role in maintaining that engagement with the military, which is the primary institution in Latin America.
They're going to these countries to make a profit. They're not going there to attempt to change the existing social system.
I thought it was a great company. I was very excited and proud, but I was very wrong. Dead wrong. As soon as we formed our union, the Coca-Cola Company and its directors began to patronize, to directly fund the paramilitary groups, ultra right-wing death squads of Colombia. Property owners of this Coca-Cola bottling factory would actually give away products, Coke products, to the paramilitaries for their parties and for their get-togethers. In December of 1996, we were to receive word from the company if they were in fact going to negotiate with our union in good faith. Their response was the murder of my co-worker, Isidro Gil, within our bottling factory. My co-worker Isidro was killed at around 9 a.m. They returned that afternoon looking for me. I was fortunately able to escape when they entered the factory. Within 2 years, 5 of my co-workers were murdered.
Chairman Isdell says Coca-Cola recently conducted their own inquiry into labor conditions and are convinced that they have done nothing wrong.
There are no threats or attempts by management to attack or intimidate workers for being affiliated with a union, or for being a union organizer, or for being a union official.
Now, no one is suggesting that Coca-Cola executives sitting in Atlanta were ordering murder of trade union activists or the kidnapping of their children. However, these things did occur. And the company may have profited from these things having occurred.
And furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves.
I got hit by a piece of General Motors shrapnel, from an 81 mortar. They dug it out of my leg and it said GM and it had the numbers on it and everything, So, what else can I tell you? They're making money, that's what it's all about. Like, they're supposed to be making cars.
Tell you fascists, you may be surprised. People in this world are getting organized. You're bound to lose.
Marxist, Leninist, Maoist, Stalinist, Trotsky, anarcho-capitalist, paleo-libertarian, Reagan Republican. I prefer Khrushchev.
Why don't we just start robbing a bunch of banks?
I said we call the landlord and tell her that we have a leak. And when she comes up here, we kill her. And then America gets its own land reform.
What we want to do is we want to blow up CT Corporation.
What is CT Corporation?
CT Corporation is kind of basically like the Euclid House for America, where like 285,000 businesses are just slopping their money in there.
285,000 businesses?
Yes!
How is this legal?
It's not. Where it is, I don't fucking know.
Right now we're in these ivory towers. You know what I mean? We gotta learn about the people before we can spark a revolution.
What should we do?
Study the factory laws. Talk to the workers, question them. Find out what their grievances are. Then we can use those grievances in our propaganda. You must find ways of distributing leaflets, arrange contacts, meetings. When they see that we are identified with their everyday needs, then they will trust us. We can organize them, develop their political consciousness. You'll do nothing if you sit here and talk like effete university liberals. We must go out, obtain the confidence of the people and the power of the people. Only they can challenge the Tsarist state and the bourgeoisie which supports it. We must show the people the structure of society so that they can pull it down with their bare hands.
I still say we put a sidecar on my motorcycle and Matt's motorcycle. The four of us travel the country learning about our people. We work for Che Guevara.
From New York City, Face the Nation, a spontaneous and unrehearsed news interview with Ernesto Che Guevara, Cuban Minister of Industry.
I think with regards to solutions, there are solutions, and I think there is only one. We have said repeatedly to the government of the U.S. that we do not want anything but to forget us, that they do not consider us even for good or evil.
April 6, 1960 memo on Cuba, he was advising a blockade. He said, most Cubans support Castro. There is no effective political opposition. The only possible way to make the government lose domestic support is by provoking disappointment and discouragement through economic dissatisfaction and hardships. Every possible means should be immediately used to weaken the economic life, denying Cuba funds and supplies to reduce nominal and real salaries with the objective of provoking hunger, desperation, and the overthrow of the government.
You are in the real American tradition of a George Washington, of any man who started off with a small body, fought against a great nation and won.
Es un símbolo para todos los pueblos oprimidos. Playa Girón es la primera derrota del imperialismo en América Latina, pero también es una de las primeras derrotas del imperialismo en escala mundial.
Además, el camino de la lucha armada no es el camino que hayan escogido los revolucionarios, sino es el camino que los opresores le han impuesto a los pueblos. Y los pueblos entonces tienen dos alternativas: o doblegarse o luchar.
We ran photographs that made almost every newspaper in the country of the Cubans being executed by the Ovimbunda women who supposedly had been their victims.
These were fake photos?
Oh, absolutely. We didn't know of one single atrocity committed by the Cubans. It was pure, raw, false propaganda to create an illusion of communists, you know, eating babies for breakfast and that sort of totally false propaganda.
Con su traje. ¿Cuál traje? What suit? Everybody says you always have a que todo el mundo dice que usted tiene un chaleco a prueba de balas. No. No. Voy a desembarcar así en Nueva York. I will land in New York like this. Tengo un chaleco. I will land in New York like this. Tengo un chaleco moral.
Es un precio sencillísimo, es un precio económico. Yo estaría dispuesto a negociar mi vida. Lo que no estaría dispuesto a negociar la revolución, a negociar el socialismo, a negociar los principios.
So I yelled, I like Fidel Castro and his beard. Rita looked offended, but she got out of the way as he came charging down the stairs saying, "What's that I heard you say?"
This has got to be big. Bigger than COVID, Bitcoin, GameStop. For a seismic change, it's got to be King Kong big.
That's what the short squeeze was supposed to be. We can make it happen. I mean, my dad has a friend who works for Magellan Capital, okay? And we just set up a phone call, get him in a meeting, we take him captive, and then we get him to buy back all of his stocks. It's simple.
We're not here to make friends with a bunch of hedgies. If we can't have the bourgeoisie, then let's fucking kill them.
I think he might be right. I mean, it's like Lenin said, you know, there are decades where nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen. Tomorrow, decades are gonna happen.
Well, I'm gonna be Lapu and take down Magellan. Oh, fucking hell, man.
Alright. Gotta piss.
The Flintstones' Viva Rock Vegas is a pornographic capitalist fantasy.
Hey.
Hey. So what's the fucking plan here? What do you want, money? Huh? Are you talking about fucking stocks or shit? What do you fucking idiots want?
Is that all you fucking think about, stocks? We're still working it out. But for now, I gotta take a piss.
You're gonna piss in here.
Where do you want me to piss?
Jesus Christ. Fucking animals.
Do you need anything?
You got a cigarette?
Yeah. It's a CBD cigarette. Is that okay?
Fucking goddamn it. Fucking hippies. Jesus.
Do you mind?
Fuck.
Do you fucking mind? Trying to focus here.
You know, just hand me my phone and I'll fucking call Magellan Capital and ask for whatever you want. You want your fucking demands. Just let me out of here.
There we go.
Don't fucking get me with the splashback! Let me the fuck out of here! You don't need to wash your fucking hands!
I just washed my hands!
You don't need to wash your hands!
I just washed them!
Jesus Christ! You know, we're all the same. We're humans, right? You can let me go, because we're all humans, and we all bleed the same, right? You guys are fucking hippies, you understand that.
Man. You know, the more powerful the class, the more it claims to not exist.
So then tell me, what the fuck is Marxist-Leninism anyway?
We're Maoists, you stupid rich fuck.
Just give me a definition. You guys could just fucking give me a definition? You don't even know what you fucking believe.
Le marxisme-léninisme.
A definition? When the sun sets, it's all red. Then it disappears. But in my heart, it never sets.
So why are there no fucking women in your group?
لأنها يقول معلش واجب أنت جلس في محلش ولهذا يسيطروا عليها حتى الامرأة من يوم صبحة الثورة شعرت لأن هذا من أول اللي الناس اللي بيسيطروا علي كذا مش من أجلي أنا إلا من أجلهم هم يغصبوني أنا ويمتصوا دماني وينهبوا أسلوبي وروحي التي أنا بأخدم وبعمل من أجل وطن وشعب. ولا يمكن أني أحتقر نفسي لهؤلاء هذا الشلة حتى تصبح هي مسيطرة علي. أنا باستطاعتي أنا أدفع بنفسي للإمام وأقتحم هذه الحواجز اللي هم دايرين علي الكل وأطور نفسي وألتحق بالثورة لكي أشارك في كافة الأعمال الثوري. عرفت الثورة إذا ما شاركت فيها الإمرأة ككونها في المجتمع لا يمكن أن تتحقق هذه الثورة. وإذا أنا مسكت يدي واحدة لا يمكن يدي واحدة أن تنجز لي عملي. لكن إذا هذا الكاتفة الثانية ممكن أنجز عملي وأخلصه بأسرع ممكن.
Yeah. Thomas Sankara, I know. The revolution starts with the liberation of the women. Look, I took a temperature check of the group chat, and they didn't seem like they were into it. So, what do you want out of me?
Thomas Sankara is brought to power by a coup supported by one of the poorest peoples on our planet. Behind a military uniform and a Marxist discourse, Africa discovers a young and dynamic leader ready to put his innovative ideas at the service of his fellow citizens.
Il y en a qui demandent mais où se trouve l'impérialisme? L'impérialisme, regardez dans vos assiettes quand vous mangez. Les grains de riz, de maïs, de mil importés, c'est ça l'impérialisme, n'allez pas plus loin.
Little by little, Sankara takes his country out of misery, achieves food self-sufficiency, but clashes with the French who want to keep control over their former colonies. Above all, they want to avoid by all means that Sankara's ideas spread throughout the region.
La France ne comprend pas l'Afrique et il est grand temps qu'elle la comprenne. Qui ici ne souhaite pas que la dette soit purement et simplement effacée? Celui qui ne le souhaite pas, il peut sortir, prendre son avion et aller tout de suite à la Banque mondiale payer.
Thomas Sankara is attacked by those in the north as well as in the south who benefit from Africa's underdevelopment. His closest collaborator, Blaise Compaoré, with the support of foreign powers, will betray him.
That's our land that belongs to us. The agribusiness multinationals will get that land.
Killed for his ideas, Thomas Sankara has become the African Che in the eyes of African youth today.
Pour le grand combat patriotique, pour l'avenir radieux de notre pays, la patrie ou la mort, nous vaincrons.
You're just a bunch of fucking stupid white guys that read too many books. Where, fucking black people in your group? Where's the fucking diversity in your group?
Now you're gonna be a race reductionist? Newsflash, we're the lower class, and today we're taking you on a field trip to the guillotine.
If we're going to talk about the total liberation of black people, we first have to liberate ourselves from the material conditions of our oppression. And the material conditions of our oppression are no jobs, or bad jobs, unemployment, bad housing, bad medical care, and all of the kinds of things that will be eradicated under socialism. Well, our first visit will be to California, where we'll go to the Oakland Community Learning Center. This is a school that was started by a political organization in the black community of Oakland.
Förutom fria skolfrukostar och luncher har Svarta Pantrarna fria hälsokliniker och fri juridisk service för att hjälpa de fattiga mot polisen, hyresvärdarna och socialvårdsmyndigheterna. Man har även ett program för fria kläder och för försvar av politiska fångar.
I haven't suffered the way you've suffered. I'm just beginning to learn the nature of that experience. And somehow that has to be translated to the white community now. Time's running out for everybody.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah? Hope you like your Armani suits smoked.
Verbrennt mit etwa 400 Grad. Napalm verbrennt mit etwa 3000 Grad Hitze.
Holy shit! You guys actually tied this guy up?
Watch it, man. We're about to live stream a struggle session with this pig.
People who comment but don't follow are the kulaks of the modern age. They must be exterminated.
He sees his computer's future as the future of mankind.
This is a 21st century bicycle that amplifies a certain intellectual ability that man has. And I think that after this process has come to maturity, the effects that it's going to have on society are actually going to far outstrip even those that the petrochemical revolution has had.
Public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
We are changing our concept of God at the same time. And the real model that we have, the God we're putting up and propping up there, is the computer.
The computer is something extraordinary. It's going to probably take over our lives. That's probably the new industry. The computer will shape our lives. It's already doing it quietly, slowly. We're unaware of it. We've talked to a great many of these experts, computer experts, who are building it. They're not concerned with what happens to the human brain. You understand? They're concerned with creating it. They're not creating, building it. That's a better word. When the computer takes over our lives, what happens to our brains? They are better, far quicker, so rapid. In a second, they'll tell you 1,000 memories. So, when they take over, what's going to happen to our brains? Gradually wither, or be thoroughly employed in amusement, in entertainment. Please face all this. For God's sake, this is happening.
People will be regarded more as statistics than as actual people.
I don't think it's going to be so nice. I think sort of all machines everywhere, everyone doing everything for you. You know, you'll get all bored, and I don't think it'll be so nice.
First of all, there's computers are taking over now. Computers and automation. And in the year 2000, there just won't be enough jobs to go around, and the only jobs there will be for people with high HQ, you know, high IQ, who can work computers and such things. And other people are just not going to have jobs. There just aren't going to be jobs for them to have.
What will happen to the computers you depend on? Do you know where they are, what they do, and what shape they're in? If they are infected with a Millennium Bug, will they be debugged and ready to run properly? If not, what could they do to your bank account, your job, your future?
It's been said that robots today are just about where computers were quite a few years ago. At that time, many were concerned. They felt that the rapid rise of the computer would result in mass unemployment. It never happened. Do these robots pose some kind of threat to human employment? Robotics seem to point the way toward increased production and improved product quality without corresponding increases in manufacturing costs.
Artificial intelligence is the present. It's here.
So every company's going to look at AI and figure out how it helps make their companies more efficient.
How it helps make their companies more efficient.
be an AI thinker. You know your business is going to be disrupted, and you need to stop resisting and start learning.
Instead of this thing you have to resist, AI is actually a great equalizer.
And you need to stop resisting, stop resisting, stop resisting.
Look out into this room, you can tell that AI is a culture.
Artificial intelligence is the present. It's here. Be an AI thinker. You know your business is going to be disrupted, and you need to stop resisting and start learning.
I am an AI language model developed by OpenAI called ChatGPT. I am here to provide information, answer questions, engage in conversations, and assist.
Whoa, hey, whoa, a robot! Wait. No.
AI replacing jobs isn't a problem at all. The problem is capitalism. If we automated all the jobs, then nobody would have to work to survive. We could spend our days doing better stuff. We could, I don't know, travel the world, maybe even the galaxy. We could focus on building communities and monuments. We could compete in the arts and the sciences. But we won't do any of that because under capitalism, whoever owns the AI owns the products of the AI. So they're simply just going to continue to hoard everything and then sell it back to us for exorbitant prices. So it's not really a problem worth worrying about, because if we could vote to ban AI, we could vote for universal basic income instead. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be traveling the galaxy than staying in the dark ages and continuing to play whoever can hoard the most survival tokens is amazing and sexy and cool and will lick your boots for the rest of eternity.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elon Musk. Thank you, Tesla. I love you, Elon Musk.
Things like raising an eyebrow, squinting, widening my eyes, or scrunching my nose.
They're coming for every second of your life. That's what these companies are coming to. This company as well. And it's not because anyone is bad. It's not because anyone in this company has evil plans or is trying to do this. They're not even doing it consciously. It's because these companies like Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and everything, they went public and they went to shareholders. So they have to grow. Their entire models are based off of growth. They cannot stay stagnant. Twitter grossed $4 or $5 billion last year. It is in the red. It is unprofitable. It has to get more of you. No matter how nice it's trying to be, it is all that they're trying to get more engagement from you. We used to colonize land. That was the thing you could expand into, and that's where money was to be made. We colonized the entire earth. There was no other place for the businesses and capitalism to expand into, and then they realized human attention. They are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you. That's what's happening. So like as much as we can, have really good conversations and try to humanize the conversations, the mechanism of the business is rolling towards that just because of the market. So it's coming. It's coming for every free second you have.
Do you plan to give away the majority of your wealth in your lifetime?
Yeah, I do. And the hard part is figuring out how to do it in a levered way.
Bezos is so rich, he got divorced, and he's still the richest man in the world.
There should not be one billionaire in America. None.
And there are more of them than ever. Since 1990, the number of billionaires in the U.S. has grown from 66 to 745.
Even if you earned it, you still owe. Because look at me, I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I got to give them some mail. And if I know I got $3,000 in my pocket, I feel like it's wrong to give that person a quarter or a dollar. It's wrong. Only you know what you got in your pocket. And that's wrong. No matter what they do, if they take it and drink it, they take it and drink it. But, I mean, you got You understand? And we all know how hard it is, and it's not about if you good or you bad. So since it's not about if you good or you bad, we know that because he don't got don't mean he was bad. Or don't mean he's a criminal, or don't mean he's crazy, or a drug addict, or none of that. It just means he don't got. And ain't it bad that you got 30? I mean, can you imagine somebody having $32 million? $32 million. And this person has nothing? And you can sleep? You can still go to the movies about, I mean, and then these are the type of people that get humanitarian awards.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big-time, small-time, shit-talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
They sometimes made it possible for millionaires to pay nothing, while a bus driver was paying 10% of his salary, and that's crazy. Do you think the millionaire ought to pay more in taxes than the bus driver, or less?
I'm somebody that I don't really buy into the rich need to pay their fair share.
Should billionaires pay more in taxes? Yeah, we should pay more in taxes. In order to become a billionaire, the one thing you have to have is luck. Any billionaire who tells you they could just do it again, no. I would not be in this position without this country.
If workers took over a factory that had a worker co-op instead of a top-down, and the workers together decided what to do with the profits, you think they'd give a few executives $25 million so they have more money than they know what to do with, while everybody else has to borrow money to send their kids to college? It'll never happen. You think a collection of workers, say 400 in a factory, considering that you could make more money if you moved the production to China, are they going to vote to get rid of their own jobs? It's not going to happen. They're not going to destroy their community by having an empty factory. They're not going to deprive their local government of the tax revenues to run the schools and the hospitals. And they're not going to deprive themselves of jobs. So what we've had in the last 40 years, all those jobs leaving, would never have left if it was the collective decision of the workers where this production is going to take place.
The blockchain is the only thing that's fucking worth a shit. Okay, because that actually is a ledger of the transactions. But Bitcoin will never work because it's anonymous. What's going to happen is all the governments are just going to build state coins so that they can monitor all the transactions, and then you'll be able to see real time what the economy is like. You'll be able to see what people are purchasing in real time. You don't have to wait for earnings.
As long as people have a choice, they're going to go for the one that leads to complete sovereignty. Okay, economic information is worth taking back, and Bitcoin's going nowhere, Jagoff.
But the information is anonymous with Bitcoin.
That's the point!
Yeah, but the government is going to want to be able to see that data. You'll see, because also then the government's going to paint it as Bitcoin's just for a bunch of drug users and terrorists.
That's fine. They could do whatever they want. Doesn't mean people aren't going to use it.
You fucking moron. Keep putting all your money in GameStop and then, tell me if they are going to get fucking rich.
I'm actually on AMC, bitch. 14 shares.
Fucking Magellan Capital's into AMC. 20,000 shares.
Read that headline.
Money! Money! Give it to you!
Jacob is the focus of a French television documentary titled 12 Years Old, Trader and Fan of Thatcher.
I love money. Always have done. Why? Because you need money, and with money you can make more money, and if you've got money, you can buy things that you want. I could buy this Rolls Royce.
Do you intend to get married and to have children?
No. I intend to stay a bachelor. Because I don't want to get divorced and have the wife take all my money.
What do you think the Russians talk about in their councils of state? Karl Marx? They get out their linear programming charts, statistical decision theories, Minimax solutions, and compute the price-cost probabilities of their transactions and investments, just like we do. We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies, Mr. Beale.
The streets will run as red as the birthmark on Gorbachev's forehead.
Это Горбачев.
Горбачев?
Это из-за него у нас в экономике бардак.
Да благодаря ему у нас новые возможности.
Это из-за него у нас Политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас свобода.
Полный хаос.
Перспективы.
Политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас есть Писахат.
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева! За Горбачева!
Sometimes nothing brings people together like a nice hot pizza from Pizza Hut.
It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
The world is a business, Mr. Beale.
We live in capitalism. Its power seems inescapable. So did the divine right of kings.
I have a piece I have to give to a gallery tomorrow. I gotta go work on it.
Is it true that automatically you can jump from capitalism to socialism? No. The ruling bourgeoisie will try to kill you first, suppress you. So when Marx says in the Communist Manifesto, you must win the battle for democracy, it means you must assert your democratic rights, the right to assemble and speak out, and all the other rights. And then when your mass movement becomes big, and then they will try to suppress you, they will come out with fascism. So before you can have socialism, the monopoly capitalist class will unleash fascism under various pretexts. They use chauvinism against immigrants, xenophobia, Islamophobia, and also many other tricks just to hide the roots of the crisis.
Today, more than ever before, our survival, yours and mine and our children's, depends on our adherence to ethical principles.
Truman thought that it would be a good idea. Why not just stay armed all the time? And then he devised the national security state. You've got to go up and swear allegiance to the United States or else you're a commie. I mean, we had imported fascism.
I hate communism.
Of course you hate communism, Ma. It's because you were raised a fascist.
He said in the spring of 1944 over dinner in Los Alamos that this bomb is not about Japan. This bomb is not about Germany. This bomb is about Russia. And this was appalling to Joseph Rothblatt, who was at that dinner table, because the Russians were fighting and dying by the millions to defeat the Nazis, and they were our allies. And there was General Grove saying this bomb is really about subduing the Russians. And he told the Oppenheimer Security Clearance Board that there was never any doubt in his mind from 2 weeks after the point where he took over the Manhattan Project that the Soviets were the enemy, and the whole Manhattan Project was conducted on that basis.
One of the things the CIA did right after World War II was hire a lot of Nazis. Guys who'd been Nazis were now recycled and brought into the CIA. The Nazi rocket scientist von Braun went to work for the United States developing intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Ethical principles. Ethical principles.
The Nazi past was forgiven, and Nazis went to work for the United States, including a guy named Reinhard Gehlen, who'd been the Nazi military intelligence officer in charge of operations against the Soviets in Eastern Europe. And this guy Gehlen became the head of the CIA's main intelligence operator into East Berlin and areas like the Ukraine, where the Nazis had intelligence agents during World War II. And this guy Reinhard Gehlen, on behalf of his new CIA masters, just activated all the agent nets that he had during World War II.
Doctors, technicians, clockmakers, postmen, farmers, housekeepers, toy makers, barbers, cooks, dock workers. Practically every German was part of the Nazi network.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118,
Bye. Cold War's over. Well, finally those capitalist pigs will pay for their crimes, eh? Hey, comrades, eh?
Austin, we won.
Oh, groovy, smashing. Yay, capitalism.
You said that capitalism is backwards and it should be destroyed. Stupid,
reactionary,
repulsive.
and barbaric. No, I didn't use the word repulsive. That's too mild.
Here's the thing I don't understand. The company is worth billions.
Yes.
And every time I pick up the paper, each year it loses more money than it lost the year before. The company's never made a profit.
That's right.
Now, why? How does it? Why? How does that? Why?
Seems like a new math, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's to someone who doesn't know anything about this. It's amazing. You know, we lost 12 million last year, and we're doing great.
Well, this is not a new phenomenon. We are a famously unprofitable company,
Right.
and we are investing in the future. It's not, which isn't unusual. Companies have done this before. What's a little surprising about Amazon.com is the scale to which we're doing it. We're doing it in a big way.
I see. So you just keep reinvesting.
We're reinvesting.
Now,
what would you rather be? Somebody with $100 and a rate of profit of 20%, or somebody with $1 billion and 2%? Jeff Bezos can just sit there and get 2% on his capital, and that's enough for him to run the Washington Post, and it's enough to actually bribe most of the members of Congress.
You have to be intense, and in fact, if you ever had to give up friendly in order to have intense, we would do that. So if we needed to be intense and combative, we'd do that before we'd be not intense.
The corporate takeover of American politics started with a man and a memo. In 1971, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce asked Lewis Powell, a corporate attorney who'd go on to become a Supreme Court justice, to draft a memo on the state of the country. Powell's memo argued that the American economic system was under broad attack from consumer, labor, and environmental groups. They wanted to ensure corporations were responsive to all their stakeholders, workers, consumers, and the environment, not just their shareholders. Powell and the Chamber saw it differently. In his memo, Powell urged businesses to mobilize for political combat and stressed that the critical ingredients for success were joint organizing and funding. The Chamber distributed the memo to leading CEOs in large businesses and trade associations, hoping to persuade them that big business could dominate American politics in ways not seen since the Gilded Age. And it worked. Lobbying has become a $3.7 billion industry. Corporations regularly outspend labor unions and public interest groups during election years.
Conservative think tanks and organizations such as the Heritage Foundation, the Cato Institute, the John Birchers, and the Federalist Society would rise and shape public consciousness to this very day. It would usher in an era of deregulation, privatization, trickle-down economics, the offshoring of production, the destruction of labor unions, and the monopolistic corporate consolidation. From 1945 to 1973, worker productivity rose 96%, while the median wage rose 94%. However, from 1974 to the present, worker productivity increased 80%, while the median wage increased a mere 10%. And while wages stagnated, CEO compensation rose 937%. In the 1970s, corporate profits made up 6% of GDP, while wages made 52%. Today, corporate profits account for 12% of GDP, while wages account for 46%. With a $17 trillion GDP, that is $1 trillion that was taken from the working class and given to the ruling class. Venture capitalist and billionaire Nick Hanauer said, "So $1 trillion that used to be wages are now profits. That $1 trillion isn't profit because it has to be or needs to be or should be. They're profits because people like me prefer them to be."
And think of basic stuff, income. So most Americans don't even know this, but I think that bottom 30% makes less than $18 an hour. You know, they're also ones with the 50 million without medical insurance. Their health is worse. Their schools are worse. They live in areas of more crime. They die younger. They have more of an opioid problem. That's what we've done. All that liberal shit you hear about, that's what we've done. And we don't sit there and say, that's what we've done. We should, and you never fix a problem if you don't admit it.
Income inequality. This is something I think we've all thought about. You know, I was working on that topic when I was still at Goldman Sachs. And
in which direction?
Well,
you're working on increasing it.
Yeah. Make it wider.
But I think...
Unemployment has to jump 40, 50% in my view
We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying people off, and we're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market, and that has to continue because that will cascade across the cost balance.
You would think these companies would be ashamed of themselves, but big business has no shame, for big business has no soul. It's out for profits, big profits, and cares nothing for people's needs. Profits which they make through controls, direct controls and indirect controls, but always real controls over the whole economy of the United States. We know the facts of this picture thanks to the investigations of the Roosevelt administration.
The ruling class is literally planning for a people's revolt. That is what these Cop City facilities are for. They are to train cops how to deal with a people's revolt. These companies are investing in protecting their assets. They would not be doing this if they expected things to get better. The government is not expecting things to get better.
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab, or will you be a man? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on?
Instead of citizens, it produces consumers. Instead of communities, it produces shopping malls. The net result is an atomized society of disengaged individuals who feel demoralized and socially powerless. It reinforces the irrelevance of electoral politics to most people and assures the maintenance of unquestioned corporate rule.
The system is so bad and everything. Why hasn't there been, excuse me?
Our system?
Our system. It's so bad. Why hasn't there been greater movements to challenge it?
Oh, it's been challenged all the time. I mean, for example, we have a very violent labor history. Hundreds of American workers were being killed right into the late 30s. Finally, they got labor rights. There has been a very extensive challenge through the 50s. In the 60s, the whole thing blew up. And in fact, many concessions had to be made. And it still continues. I mean, we right now happen to be in a period of regression, but as I say, it's cyclic. You know, there was much more regression in the 1920s when labor was really crushed. So yes, there's always challenge and struggle. But when you say, is the system so bad, I don't even know what that means. I mean, slave societies went on for centuries and centuries without any challenge.
The challenge we face is that of rooting out anything and everything that distorts and devalues human relations. Reject the values and false morality that underlies these attitudes. A rat race is for rats. We are not rats.
How strange is it that we put like a monetary value on actual life itself? Wow, it's just such a strange concept.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
The imperialist capitalist class will move heaven and hell against the proletariat. It will turn the country into a smoking heap of rubble rather than give up wage slavery of its own free will.
Our wages went up 6%. The CEO pay went up 40%. Profits have been in the billions, the hundreds of billions. They own all this. That's what's hurting the consumers.
So you want to know percentage that favor the automakers?
Oh my!
It's like 6%, 9%, something below 10.
I was shocked at that. I thought that perhaps there would be people who say, you know what? I have a F-150. I love it, and and they do a great job, and the workers are being greedy. And no, the workers win.
On the GM website, they said their profits are going toward, their billions of dollars of profits going towards EVs and reinventing themselves. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, you know what? That may be where part of their profit is, but you know what? The sad reality is they're leaving our workers behind in this transition to EV. And then on top of that, we're funding it. Our taxpayer dollars are funding this transition to the EV. So they're taking the profits generated by our members' work. They're leaving us out of the equation for the future work. And then on top of that, they're taking our tax dollars. It's a lose-lose all the way around for working class people. And again, the billionaire class continues to walk away with the loot. So people like Elon Musk can build another rocket ship and shoot themselves to the damn moon. Those days got to end.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by
unions.
Space!
Jeff and I believe that it's important for the future to be a spacefaring civilization and ultimately be out there among the stars. And I think that's the exciting, inspiring future that I think certainly people in this room want.
Now this is the plan. Get your ass to Mars.
And is astronaut ice cream a real thing? So you just fly around and flip around the space station?
To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do.
Don't you want a world of unconditional love and brotherhood? We have the secrets to self-improvement. You can join us and be special. Join our elite mission to save the world.
Once a society collapses, then you're in hard times. Well, hard iron sharpens iron, as they say, and those hard times inevitably produce men who are tough, men who are resourceful, men who are strong enough to survive. And then they go on to re-establish order, and so the cycle begins again.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus.
A revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end to end in 20 minutes with no need for cars.
There's something else we wanted to share with you.
You're not trying to bribe Mother Nature with Apple swag.
It's Apple's very first carbon neutral product.
I want to see you do more of this.
You will.
When?
By 2030, all Apple devices will have a net zero climate impact.
All of them?
All of them.
They better.
They will.
As we peer into society's future, we, you and I, and our government, must avoid the impulse to live only for today, plundering for our own ease and convenience the precious resources of tomorrow.
Total value of output of goods and services in around 1950 was $9 trillion, and it's now over $90 trillion. We continue to expand, as Marx insists the capital is bound to do, the rising mass of pollution associated with plastics. In 1970 it was very tiny. 1975 it gets bigger because plastics are being used to house carbonated water. Now it's become enormous, billions of tons of plastic waste. So this is what I mean by the rising mass. Now the plastics industry has been expanding at the rate of 7% a year. Rising mass is becoming the centerpiece of what the problem is.
ultimately, if you think about all the youth that everybody's mentioned here in Africa, if everybody's raising living standards to the point where everybody's got a car and everybody's got air conditioning and everybody's got a big house, well, the planet will boil over.
Que cada chino tuviera un automóvil o quisiera tener un automóvil. Cada uno de los 1.100 millones de chinos. O que cada uno de los indios, que son alrededor de 800 millones, quisiera tener un automóvil y este método, este estilo de vida. Y que África hiciera lo mismo. Y que casi 450 millones de latinoamericanos hicieran lo mismo. ¿Cuánto duraría el petróleo? ¿Cuánto duraría el gas? ¿Cuánto durarían los recursos naturales? ¿Qué quedaría de la capa de ozono? ¿Qué quedaría del oxígeno sobre la Tierra? ¿Qué pasaría con el dióxido de carbono? Y todos estos fenómenos que están cambiando la ecología del mundo, están cambiando la Tierra, están haciendo cada vez más difícil la vida en nuestro planeta. ¿Es que el capitalismo acaso le ha dado al mundo un modelo de vida, un modelo de sociedad?
All right. And vroom, vroom. There he goes. Let's see if he can make it to work in time. Oh shit. He made it to work. All right.
At Toyota, we're not only working toward cars with zero emissions, we're also striving for zero waste in everything else we do.
Sunshine sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the sea.
Civic 2006 Honda Civic.
600 Civic 2000, 600 Civic 2000.
Civic 2006 Honda Civic
2006 Honda Civic 2006 Honda Civic 2006 Honda Civic.
Using cars carries a big price. Of freeway traffic. One person in almost every vehicle. This is not an efficient use of a transportation pathway. It's loud. I can hardly hear myself think out here. And the air is terrible. It's polluted. We're supposed to be the smartest, most sophisticated society on the planet. And yet this is how we choose to get around.
What's a citizen gonna do?
Don't honk your horn. Raise your voice. Ask for better highways and more parking space.
It's your country. Give yourself the green light.
In June 1932, Sloan, chairman of General Motors, created something called the National Highway Users Conference. He brought together the oil companies, the tire companies, anyone who had anything to do with motorized transportation, brought them into this tremendous umbrella group. This became the kernel of what we now know as the highway lobby. They would spend millions and millions of dollars on pushing highways.
Now let me say a word about government bureaucracy.
At the top of General Motors' agenda was a system that would not only move people between cities, but would also become the main form of travel within them. With an army of paid lobbyists and an unlimited war chest, the highway lobby was by far the most powerful pressure group in Washington.
Freedom to travel safely and quickly and comfortably on our highways is not a little freedom, but a big one. People in their own communities are getting together to do something.
I'm Helen Rathburn, the 4th grade teacher at the new elementary school. I came here today just to listen. I didn't expect to say anything. But after hearing some of the arguments against the new highway proposal, I would like to say just one thing. I work all day with children, and they're your children. Your children will have a better country to live in because of these new roads. Can't you see that this highway means a whole new way of life for the children?
Commander Edwin Quinby was a rail buff with a talent for financial sleuthing. In 1946, he mailed a warning to influential people in hundreds of cities across the country. His 33-page broadside was filled with surprisingly detailed research. It brought to light what General Motors had worked hard to hide.
The plan is to deliberately destroy public utilities, which you will find impractical to replace after you discover your mistake. Who are the corporations behind this? What is more important, why are they permitted to destroy valuable electric railways?
The key lawyers involved in the case told me there was not a scintilla of doubt that these defendants, General Motors and the others, had set out to destroy the streetcar system. But since there was no antitrust law on the books at that point saying thou shalt not destroy streetcar systems, that the best way, the only way that they could get them on a violation was to proceed along the criminal antitrust conspiracy route. And that's what they did.
All they were interested in doing was taking the money out. They sucked the system dry, they raised the fares, they skimmed every dime's worth of everything they could get off of it. Basically, I'm bitter at what I've seen. Because if you take a fine tool Rolls-Royce as an example, and give it to some shade tree mechanic and let him work on it, and he ruins it, you're going to be bitter about your rules. And that's what we had, was we had a Rolls-Royce. We had the finest public transportation system, I think, of anywhere in the country. And in 10 years, that was just history.
Bentley.
Trem.
Trem.
Where would we be now if there had been environmentalists way back when?
Hey, it'll take away jobs.
It'll pollute the environment.
It's obviously unsafe.
No wheels, no wheels, no wheels, no wheels.
There are still people today who want to stop progress.
We can move all heavy industry and all polluting industry off of Earth and operate it in space. And
that does sound fantastic.
It sounds fantastic, and
or
it can't
crazy,
happen.
Jeff Bezos.
Yes, and
yes.
It can't happen today.
Yeah.
And it will take many decades.
This guy is so far off in the environmental extreme, we'll be up to our neck in owls and out of work for every American.
The world's wealthiest 1% are believed to use double the carbon emissions of the bottom 50%.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
McKinsey sets itself apart from other consultants with a promise that recruits can change the world.
What if we could be the largest private sector catalyst for decarbonization in the world?
And touts its work with fossil fuel companies to reduce their emissions. That's why Edstrom joined the company. But he was outraged to discover how important those same companies are to McKinsey's bottom line.
They serve a lot of clients with really harmful effects. They know exactly what the repercussions are going to be, and then they say, we're going to do it anyway. And that tells you all you need to know about the firm.
We are seeing a vast increase in the amount of carbon dioxide reaching the atmosphere. The annual increase is 3 billion tons. And half the carbon emitted since the Industrial Revolution still remains in the atmosphere. At the same time as this is happening, we are seeing the destruction on a vast scale of tropical forests, which are uniquely able to remove carbon dioxide from the air.
Over the next decade, 2 decades, it is
expected that there will be $150 billion worth of oil and gas extracted off your coast. It's an extraordinary figure, but think of it in practical terms. That means, according to many experts, more than 2 billion tons of carbon emissions will come from your seabed, from those reserves, and be released into the atmosphere. I don't know if you, as a head of state, went to the COP in Dubai.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Do you know that Guyana has a forest forever that is the size of England and Scotland combined? A forest that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon, a forest that we have kept alive, a forest that we have kept alive.
Does that give you the right? Does that give you the right to release all of this carbon?
Does that give you the right to lecture us on climate change? I am going to lecture you on climate change because we have kept this forest alive that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon that you enjoy, that the world enjoy, that you don't pay us for, that you don't value, that you don't see a value in, that the people of Guyana has kept alive. Guess what? We have the lowest deforestation rate in the world. And guess what? Even with our greatest exploration of the oil and gas resource we have now, we will still be net zero. Guyana will still be net zero. With all our exploration, we'll still be net zero.
Powerful words, Mr. President. But a couple.
I'm not completed as yet. I am not finished as yet. I am just not finished as yet. Because this is the hypocrisy that exists in the world. The world in the last 50 years has lost 65% of all its biodiversity. We have kept our biodiversity. Are you valuing it? Are you ready to pay for it? When is the developed world going to pay for it? Or are you in the pockets? Are you in the pockets of those who have damaged the environment? Are you in the pockets, are you and your system in the pockets of those who destroyed the environment through the Industrial Revolution and now lecturing us? Are you in their pockets? Are you paid by them? Are you paid to keep their message alive? There is no hypocrisy in our position.
Your work with Exxon was focused on the carbon cycle and climate modeling. I have a slide up here. Are you familiar with this graph from 1982? Can you briefly explain what it shows?
Sure. What it shows is a projection into the future of carbon dioxide levels and climate change associated with those carbon dioxide levels. And it's a very accurate representation of what today's climate change actually is.
So this was a model from 1982 with startlingly accurate projections into the present
That's
day.
correct.
The orange line shows the actual level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere through this year. And the blue line shows the actual average temperature change. So in 1982, Exxon accurately predicted that by this year, 2019, the Earth would hit a carbon dioxide concentration of 415 parts per million and a temperature increase of 1 degree Celsius. Dr. Hoffert, is that correct?
We were excellent scientists.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. So they knew.
Exxon's own experts produced models on warming that were even more accurate than NASA's projections. The report's authors say Exxon made public statements that contradicted its own scientific data, including the claim that climate action wasn't an urgent problem.
I don't believe that nicotine or our products are addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive. I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
Antarctica acts like a refrigerator for Earth, but lose the reflective sea ice and much more of the sun's energy is going to be absorbed by the darker ocean, driving up temperatures. The worry is the refrigerator could end up acting more like a radiator.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet. Over the next 100 years, say 10 feet by the next 100 years, and it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater. right? Which, let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
que desce. Como que desce?
Oh, we made it. We're gonna line on the road now pretty soon. We're gonna, oh.
Oh my gosh, please leave the horses there. Yeah, we're done.
There's a lot of real estate speculation happening right now that is really frustrating, and I just want to remind all you real estate investors around the world, like, Lahaina is not for sale. Please don't reach out to these families and take advantage of them during the most devastating time of our lives.
This is what my view from Jersey City normally looks like looking over Manhattan compared to today.
These are the stakes. To make a world in which all of God's children can live, or to go into the dark. We must either love each other, or we must die.
The impression I had that I never expected to have is you're shooting up.
Oh my God.
Give me a champagne bottle. Come here. I want one. I want to hear this. Here. You want a little of this? Hey.
I was so thoroughly unprepared for this experience. It was among the strongest feelings of grief I have ever encountered. I saw a cold, dark, black emptiness. It was unlike any blackness you can see or feel on Earth. It was deep, enveloping, all-encompassing. I turned back towards the light of home. I could see the curvature of the earth, the beige of the desert, the white of the clouds, and the blue of the sky. It was life. Nurturing, sustaining life. Mother Earth, Gaia. And I was leaving her. Everything I had thought was wrong. Everything I had expected to see was wrong. I had thought that going into space would be the ultimate catharsis of that connection I had been looking for between all living things. That being up there would be the next beautiful step to understanding the harmony of the universe. The contrast between the vicious coldness of space and the warm, nurturing earth below filled me with overwhelming sadness. Every day we are confronted with the knowledge of further destruction of Earth at our hands, extinction of animal species, of flora and fauna, things that took 5 billion years to evolve, and suddenly we will never see them again because of the interference of mankind. It filled me with dread. My trip to space was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, It felt like a funeral.
There is no crisis which can be, by itself, fatal to capitalism. The transition from a bourgeois society to a socialist society presupposes the activity of living men who are the makers of their own history. The crises of capitalism are not numbered, nor is it indicated in advance which one of these will be the last. The present crisis imperiously command the proletariat. Seize power. If, however, the party of the working class, in spite of favorable conditions, reveals itself incapable of leading the proletariat to the seizure of power, then the life of society will continue necessarily upon capitalist foundations, until a new crisis, a new war, perhaps until the complete disintegration of all civilization.
You kill me. 100 years from now, there won't be one sad fuck to look at any of this. What keeps you going?
You know what it is, Theo? I just don't think about it.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but society is not collapsing. The current paradigm is collapsing. In real time, before our very eyes. Collectively, we can all feel it happening. But what we have to realize is that right now, the old paradigm, which universally we all agree does not work and is not working for humanity, that old way of doing things has to die. It has to make its way out. In 2020, we all asked for 2020 vision, but what we saw was not very pretty, now was it? So right now, all of the negative aspects of humanity that do not belong in the new paradigm are making themselves known. And that is why right now, all these crises that are threatening our existence, from climate change to racism to human rights to financial, economic crisis, all of that's compiling on top of each other, because these are all things that we have to address and deal with and fix if we're going to move on as a species. In the old paradigm, baby, they don't want to let go. They're clasping, they're grasping for whatever they can do to stay in power. But right now, collectively, we have an extremely rare opportunity to rebirth the society that we would like to see. And we have to make that distinction in our minds that society itself is not collapsing. It's the old paradigm that's falling apart right now. And they are fighting tooth and nail to stay in power. Trust me, believe me when I say it is going to get uglier before it gets better. But I need you guys to realize that there is hope. That the last thing that we need to do right now is just give up and surrender. And right now, it is critical that we do not give up, because that's what they want. They want us to give up. They want us to say, well, the world's ending, screw it, y'all take control, do whatever. No, that is not why we're here, babes. You have the ability to see what's wrong with society right now for a reason. You have the knowledge that you have for a reason. For your future self and for the future generations who will learn about these times we're living through. I don't care what anyone says, it is not too late. There is hope.
The best way to destroy the capitalist system is to debauch the currency.
Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit!
Yeah, but Mao would have killed all the members of the Frankfurt School.
What, you mean like Hitler was trying to do?
Mao had all the right reasons.
You guys actually tied that guy up. I can't even believe this. I think I need some weed to handle this whole situation.
Weed this, weed that. Why don't you go weed some theory?
Fuck you, Ben. Eat a fucking ass. Find an ass and eat it, dude. Fuck you.
Fuck it. If none of you guys have the balls to do it, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm marching into that bathroom and I'm going to fucking put a bullet in this guy's head. We're done with him. Holy shit.
An impulsive reaction is very similar to a false intuitive thought. What is an impulsive reaction? What does intuitive thought mean?
هل هو بالعنف العفوي؟ لا. بالعنف الثوري المنظم. بالعنف الثوري المنظم. الثوري المنظم.
Destroy, 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 destroy,
Your father was a CIA operative. Yes?
Yeah, he was.
How do you know? What proof?
See, I shouldn't get into this right now.
Okay.
This is where we're going to get into trouble.
But this is something that you feel and that you're trying to work on?
Oh, I know it's true, but, yeah.
Does it make a difference?
That he was trained by the CIA?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it makes a difference. Yeah.
Every man has his breaking point.
Under communism, everyone gets a bullet.
Le Vietnam brûle et moi je hurle Mao Mao. Johnson rigole et moi je vole Mao Mao. Le napalm coule et moi je roule Mao Mao. Les villes crèvent et moi je rêve Mao Mao. Les putains crient et moi je ris Mao Mao. Le riz est fou et moi je joue Mao Mao. L'impérialisme dicte partout sa loi. La révolution n'est pas un dîner. La bomba est un tigre en papier. Les masses sont les véritables héros. Les ricains tuent et moi je mue Mao Mao. Les fous sont rois et moi je bois Mao Mao. Les bombes tonnent et moi je sonne Mao Mao. Les bébés fuient et moi je fuis Mao Mao. Les Russes mangent et moi je danse Mao Mao. Diable dénonce, je renonce Mao Mao.
C'est le petit livre rouge qui fait que tout enfin bouge.
La base de l'armée, c'est le soldat. Le vrai pouvoir est au bout du fusil. Les monstres seront tous anéantis. L'ennemi ne périt pas de lui-même.